Okay, welcome back to another math video. In these series of videos, we're going to look at reviewing for the final exam. And this first part of it, we're going to be looking at the Chapter 2 stuff. And essentially what I'm going to do with these is you have the review problems, and I'm going to go through some of them, mostly the hard ones, but at least one from each kind of topic that we covered. I'll do at least one of each type of problem. And so in this video, we're going to start with the very first concept that's on the Chapter 2 review, and that is your difference quotients, okay? And I can almost guarantee there will be a question like this on the final exam. It is very important in calculus, and so they want to make sure that you are at least exposed to this in case you do have to go on and take more math classes further down the road. And so what we're going to be doing in this video is doing, this is number one, and it's B, okay? So this is number 1B on the review, and we're going to find this difference quotient and simplify it, okay? So you don't need to know this formula. They will give it to you when they are wanting the difference quotient. But what you will need to know how to do is how to find it and how to simplify it for a given function. So the function we're dealing with, f of x in this case, is going to be x squared minus 2. Okay? And so what we do here is we're going to do f of x plus h minus f of x, which we already know what f of x is, right? It's x squared minus 2, so we know this piece. And we know, well, h is just h, the number h, okay? But it's really, the part we don't know yet is this f of x plus h, okay? So when you have f of x plus h, what does that mean? Well, whenever you put something inside the parentheses on your function, that is the input that you're putting in the function, right? If I put like a 1 in there, if I had f parentheses 1 and then close parentheses, I would replace every x in the equation with 1, right? So I would do like 1 squared minus 2, which is -1 would be f of 1, okay? But in this case, I don't just have a number here. I actually have a variable, like 2 variables in here, a sum of 2 variables, and that is what my input is, okay? So what I need to do here is I'm going to take my equation for f of x right here, okay? And I'm going to, everywhere there's an x, okay? Everywhere x is the input of the function, right? It's right here. Well, I'm replacing it with x plus h, right? That's my input. So everywhere there's an x, I replace it with x plus h. So I get x plus h squared minus 2, okay? Okay, so what did I do? This is the same as we're using our function x squared minus 2. It's just we've replaced x with x plus h, right? That's what we're doing here, okay? So that's f of x plus h. Well, we can simplify that a little bit. And maybe just a good review, how do I square when I have a sum inside of the square? Is it the same as x squared plus h squared? You can just square each individual piece. No, it's not. There's more stuff, right? it's going to be, when we FOIL it all out, we're going to have x plus h times x plus h minus 2. And so when we FOIL it out, we get x squared from those two, and xh, and then another xh, so two xh's, and then an h squared, okay? Minus 2. That's what we would get when we FOIL it out. Okay? So this is one piece of the difference quotient. It's the f of x plus h part, okay? And so now that we have it, we already know f of x, and h is just h, so we can actually figure out what this difference quotient is. Okay? So this difference quotient for this function, f of x plus h, we figured out was this, so we're going to plug that in. X squared plus 2xh plus h squared and minus 2. That was f of x plus h. Okay. And then f of x, well, f of x was right here, right? It's x squared minus 2. So this guy is going to be minus, right? We're doing minus f of x, well, minus x squared minus 2. Okay. And then lastly, still divided by h. Okay. So now what we do is we just simplify this. Okay. Let me switch to purple again. So let's look in this. Is there anything that we can simplify? Well, x squared here. Is there any other x squareds? Ah, there's one right here. Okay. And I'm minusing it. So these two are going to cancel out, right? X squared minus x squared is 0. Okay. And then I'm doing, let's see, 2xh. Are there any other xh's in here? No. Okay. H squareds. Are there any other h squareds? No. Okay. 2. Are there any other numbers in here? Well, sorry, this is minus 2. And then we're minusing a minus 2. So these two are going to cancel out. And what do we get when we do that? When we cancel those out, we get 2xh plus h squared. Right, that's what's left, divided by h. And now all we need to do is, there's an h in both terms on the top, and I'm dividing by it. So I can divide each individual one. This would be the same thing as doing 2xh over h plus h squared over h. You can split it into two fractions and then divide the h out of both of them, right? This one will cancel out. And then when I do h squared divided by h, one of them cancels out, right? So I just get 2x plus h. And that would be my final answer here. Okay? So this is finding the difference quotient of a function, and namely we're dealing with this quadratic function, which isn't too bad. Okay? So hopefully that helps with that.